Welcome in to a dry, no snow on the ground, tri-oval office. I know that's a relief for everyone who just tuned in to social media, to your weather apps for Winston-Salem, even though you might live halfway across the country. And spoiler alert, there's still a lot of ice and snow on the ground in North Carolina. How are you doing, Grant? Staying warm, I hope.
We are down here. There's no snow on in the air right now up there, but that may change in the next 24 hours. So that remains to be seen.
So, um, I read something today, Grant, and I didn't put this in the rundown. We didn't talk about it in the green room or anything, but um, there are plans for a nuclear reactor on the moon in 2030, and
Okay.
right after they install it, we're going to run the Clash of Bowman Gray.
Oh, okay.
So
That
that's
tracks with our schedule. Okay, that's cool.
so
We
just
might as well just run the Clash on the moon.
I mean, it's probably more hospitable at this point. You get more fans there,
We could call Elon. I'm sure he'd get us up there.
but just so you know, make sure you have your Fox Sports app handy as we're going to be running on Fox Sports 7. Um, just so you're aware.
Got it ready to roll.
But yeah, no racing on track yet. Hopefully, tomorrow we'll actually get to see our favorite drivers tear it up and make each other mad at the madhouse. But until then, I think just in terms of how we schedule this, we've got to move on. Well, we don't have to move on to the Daytona Duels yet. There's been a lot of interesting discussions with the Clash of, well, should we even have it in North Carolina at all at this time of year because it can snow? Which, I mean, we're both Southern boys. We're both from Georgia, but it doesn't normally snow this much. I don't remember a winter where we've had three or four instances of snowstorms rolling through the
Uh-uh.
southeast back to back to back to back.
This
That
is the
just doesn't
coldest it's
happen.
been back to back in like forever. I mean, today was finally the day, at least down here. It got to my truck said it was 64 at one point, which was fantastic. But it felt like we had like almost 2 straight weeks of like I woke up in the morning and it was like if it wasn't single digits, it was right there. Like it hasn't been
It
that cold
was
down here. It was like I don't know who lied to us about global warming, but that is not true. Like it's a
uh,
lie.
I'm going to avoid that one. But anyways, we got, um, but it's just a fluke. I would love to see it stay at Bowman Gray or something similar because I think it's very easy on the teams to get there from Charlotte. And well, most times, I mean, now it's just a wall of ice, Antarctica style, trying to get from Charlotte to Winston Salem. But otherwise, I mean, I think it's a pretty cool venue for it.
No, I agree. It's anything's better than California. So I'll
I think
take.
it
I
was a
mean,
cool.
it was cool. Like while it was the first like year, and then like the second year, like it was cool. And then I feel like the luster just kind of wore off, and then it was time to move on. So I just like it being in. It's where it needs to be in the heart of NASCAR country. So we've got. I know you and I we both brainstormed some other places locally, but I mean they're the same type of
Kind
track,
of
most of
vibe.
them as Bowman Gray. So maybe if we got like a rotating schedule between these, that'd be pretty cool, just to give some other opportunities to some other tracks around the area. But I think it needs to stay. I mean, unless we get something crazy, like something kind of in that same genre.
Well, the NFL keeps messing with their schedule, so the
Yeah,
500's running a week
they're
later
gonna be
next year.
playing 25 games in the next 2 years, and we're gonna be running the Clash in August. It's gonna be ridiculous.
It's not great,
No,
but
football season's too long. Even though I love football.
it's just so that kind of messes with the Clash schedule, anyways.
Yeah,
But I do agree with you. I think unless they're going to go international with it, which they keep kind of throwing out Brazil just as an option, which I don't know logistically 2 weeks before the 500 how possible that is.
yeah. That's the
Um,
logistics on that one don't make much sense to me.
so unless you were going to push the 500 back to like March and then you run it Pro Bowl week, still, I think
Well, no
that
one
could work.
watches the Pro
But
Bowl anyways, so that could work.
yeah, so that might make the most sense of anything else I've seen if you're going to go international. But for the most part, we've kept it in the southeast.
Yeah.
The first one, and I don't think I put it on the list, but if we're going to go somewhere that's an existing track that's kind of that's NASCAR owned, most importantly, I think Road Atlanta could be fun because I don't want to take a points paying date away from Atlanta Motor Speedway to run a Road Atlanta, even though I think it would be interesting with an next gen car, just the way it's laid out. And it's a really nice facility. Petit Le Mans is up there every single year for IMSA. And I think that would be a fun race. Granted, it would have also been under about a quarter foot of snow this weekend. So you can't really win. Sometimes it's just going to be winter weather in winter.
Yeah. I mean, is this the solution to our predicament of trying to get Road Atlanta on the schedule what we talked about last episode? Because that might be the way to do it. Because like you said, we cannot take away a points paying race at Atlanta because it's too good. So maybe that's our solution.
That would be my thing. And then like same vein, like kind of looped them back together. Barber would be kind of interesting if
So
we
your
were going to
team
give
road
another.
course for the Clash.
Those are my only two, unless we did a street course. But that would be kind of I don't know how that would go over. I mean,
Mm,
Nashville's still without power, and that's about the only major city I think it would be interesting enough to run. Unless we
yeah,
ran
you'd
one
have
in
to
like
run it. So you'd have to run it like I guess you could do. We could see how St. Pete works out. I was about to say you could do Tampa,
Charleston, I think it'd be interesting.
Charleston. Yeah, I was in Charleston a few months ago. I don't think the road is they might have to do some repaving and some
Streets
infrastructure
are a
on that
little
one.
too narrow, a little bit
Narrow
Monaco.
and real bumpy.
So SVG is going to run away with it.
If he can keep his car in one piece and he puts off road suspension on his on
So
his car.
I'm interested. So where were you thinking going possibly? Because we haven't seen each other's lists.
Yes. I've seen a couple that you put. I don't know how many because I didn't know about either. I didn't know that you were thinking Road Atlanta. So I've seen one, and I'll lead with one that we both had on there, which is Nashville Fairgrounds. I think
Yeah,
that will be
because
fun.
new announcement that they're actually the neighborhood is going to let them run. Because
Yeah,
when you move to a house that's next to a racetrack and then you start complaining because there's a racetrack in your backyard because HOAs.
yeah. I mean, I live not too far from the people that complained about Dixie Speedway. So yeah, it's like you moved there. What did you expect? Like they race there. It's a racetrack. It's not a horse racetrack. So Nashville, I think that would be cool.
I think there's a
Yeah,
real chance that Fairgrounds is going to be on the point schedule in a few years. But I
that would
wouldn't
be good too.
mind seeing it come back to start with,
Yeah,
like, it's never a bad thing to be in the Nashville market more
yeah,
than NASCAR already is.
yeah. So, and in the effort to be fully transparent, I'm not really up to speed. No pun intended on the local short track scene in the southeast in terms of like aside from the ones that we know from like either Dale Jr. like Cars Tour and stuff like that. So I did a little Google research and came up with I have three that after I looked at pictures and stuff like that and like kind of looked where they were and like regionally, I was like, man, that'd be pretty cool. Um, so I mean, I know you've got some we can popcorn, but I'll start. Um, I saw online and I thought it looked cool. Hickory Motor Speedway,
That could be fun. Yeah.
and I don't know if you can like splice in an image or something like that, or just like I mean,
Oh, you're
if you
making it
can't,
hard on editor me, man.
sorry, I know, but I was looking. I mean, I was even it was just earlier. I was just like kind of doing my halfway research while just after being done from work going to the gym and I was like, huh, okay, Hickory Speedway, clicked on images like this is pretty slick looking. Like this could be pretty cool. It's got the same kind of vibe and feel as Bowman Gray. I don't know how the hauler logistics. I don't know what that's like, but the track and stuff looks cool. Look like it could hold a couple people in the stands. It's in
It's
North
a
Carolina. It's close for the teams. Like,
it's a third mile. It holds
yeah,
just under 10,000 people, but you
yeah,
can
that
always
would be
move in temporary
perfect.
grandstands.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be perfect.
you've
So,
okay. So transparency for people at home. I love dirt racing, but I've not been to enough dirt races, like enough different dirt race tracks, and I haven't been in a little bit. But that's something we're going to rectify this summer. Grant has never seen dirt racing, so
mm-mm.
therefore he's never seen real racing.
Okay.
Um, oh, it's going to be so much fun. But
I live 5 minutes from Dixie Speedway. I
and
need
you've
to make
never
that.
been.
Okay.
It's
I've only lived
terrible.
here for a year. Okay, cut
That's
me some
fair.
slack.
Okay. But when it warms up, we gotta see what the sprint cars and super late models do.
Yes.
But speaking of Hickory Motor Speedway, I mean that's concrete. But this wasn't even, and I'm not advocating for NASCAR to hold an event here. I think it's a decent facility, but it's not up to NASCAR turns. But it almost reminds me a lot of Sonoa Raceway,
Hmm.
which is about midway between both of us, and with you north of Atlanta, me just north of Columbus. So I think that's kind of what it reminds me of the vibe,
Yeah.
which can be fun. Similar to Hickory, though, I had Florence
Okay.
Raceway, so just another short track. This one's in South Carolina.
Time to
Um,
look it up.
Florence is in a pretty decent market. Um, it's not too far away. It's pretty close to Darlington. So I mean that
Oh,
could
that's
be a,
pretty sweet.
but it's a
Heck
really
yeah.
good facility for a short track. It
Yeah.
definitely could host big cup races, at least for a half field. I don't know if I would want to bring the entire garage over to Florence for a weekend, but I think it's
That's
possible.
cool. Yeah.
Um, it's another track that the Cars Tour goes to,
Hmm.
and in a similar vein, I'm going to bring up another one, Five Flags in Pensacola,
Okay.
where
I also have
uh,
one in Florida. We're on the. We have
yeah,
to
so we're kind
prepare
of
for the
moving it
worst. We
south.
have to prepare for the worst here, apparently.
So unless Snowman Gray has taught us a lesson, and we are going to be prepared in the future.
Okay. Five flag. That's cool. I can get
Um,
behind that. Yeah.
it's where they run every year the
Yeah.
oh shoot, what's it called? It's not the Chili Bowl, it's the other one. The
The Cereal Bowl. I have no idea. The Super Bowl.
it's
I
it's
have no idea.
you're not far off. I
Retro Bowl.
it's the
See how many different bowls I can come up with. The Chipotle Bowl.
yeah, just keep naming.
I had that for lunch.
The Snowball Derby. I knew it was something to do
Ah.
with um winter. So I mean, it hosts one of the biggest events in short track racing every year. I think it could very easily fill the stands. And if you know anything kind of about geography, yes, there are already two tracks that NASCAR goes to in Florida, and you're going to add a third with St. Pete with the trucks this season.
Yeah, but who
But
cares? It's February. Everyone wants to go to
exactly,
Florida in February.
exactly. But I mean, it's in the Panhandle, so it's a
Yeah.
completely
That's
different part of the state. I mean, their closest track would be probably Talladega, and that's a
yeah. Or Atlanta. Yeah.
solid 5 hour drive at
Yeah.
least. So I
Definitely.
mean, this is I mean they're not malnourished when it comes to NASCAR content, being able to go in person, but this is like throwing your fans a little bone. Like that's
Yeah.
NASCAR country. It's hard to get to a race sometimes. You had to go for the whole weekend.
Hmm.
Like here you go,
Yeah.
and I think Five Flags is a good facility to do it at.
I like the look of that one just based off the stuff I'm seeing online. But in the spirit of staying in Florida and heading further south down the Panhandle and right in the backyard of well, actually, I'm not exactly sure where it is. Let's see. I'm New Smyrna Speedway. I don't
Okay,
know if you're familiar with that one,
I
but I was
believe
like,
that's around Jacksonville.
if it's near New Smyrna Beach, then it's definitely. I think it is. Yeah, it's on yeah, it's Indian Springs. Okay. Um, because I was just looking down that way because I'm like, this snow sucks. Obviously, it's a once in a you know couple
Generation
decades kind of
storm.
storm.
So
So it's like, is it ever going to happen again? We don't really have to prepare for the worst, because it probably won't happen again. Knock on wood. But I was just looking. I mean, this one is, if I'm not mistaken, it's a half a mile.
it is.
Like I mean, it's not a tiny, I mean, it's a normal. I mean, we could run a full field on that. Um, which I don't really know if the clash is meant for a full field, which it's not. But um, I mean, that part. I mean, that would be kind of something where it's like, man, like Jacksonville in February, like it's probably in the 60s down there most of the time in that time of year. Like, man, like I would want to go to that from Atlanta. So,
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, it's got
five
it just had a good look to it.
Five Flags is also a half mile.
Okay, yeah,
Florence is 4/10 of a mile, so you're kind
it's
of
right. It's right there.
it's right there. And then we've talked about you mentioned Hickory.
Yep, I think that's a point three,
Yeah, I was gonna
maybe.
say I think it's a third mile. Yeah, it's a third of a mile
Yeah.
track. So
Okay.
not
Um.
quite like the 3/8 I'm used to with dirt track racing, but I mean it's a little bit bigger. or
Yeah.
smaller than that.
Yeah.
Fractions are hard.
That's why we use decimal points. Um,
Um,
you got another one?
I got one more, and then I got the one I really want to see them actually go.
Okay. I've also got one more. So we'll go you, me, and then you'll pull the grand finale.
If they're going to actually just use a track, kind of like how they did where they ran the Clash at Daytona
Hmm.
forever, I don't want to see the Clash back at Daytona. I mean, towards the end there, it was just lifeless. No one was showing up. You have so much racing at Daytona during this like 3 to 4 week stretch between the Rolex and then, I mean, we don't have speed weeks, true speed weeks anymore, but between
Hmm.
that and then the duels and then the 500, if there's anything I'm going to cut out not seeing, it's going to be the Clash.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hold it at Daytona, but if we were going to hold it at a NASCAR or a track we go to regular season and
Yeah.
we had to stay in the Southeast, I think there's really two options for this because Bristol's going to be snowed in more often than not. And
Yeah.
then same thing if you go up to like Richmond or
You don't want to
Martinsville.
tangle with that. You don't want to have to deal with the logistics every year.
And as good as Charlotte races, I don't know if that's necessarily something they'd consider with how many short tracks are just right there, right
Yeah.
around Charlotte.
Yeah.
And we already got our second Charlotte Oval date. We don't
Probably
necessarily
not
need to
gonna.
have three
Yeah.
more. Um, but I think either Darlington or Atlanta would be probably the only options if they
Yeah.
were to consider that, unless we held it in Homestead. Homestead, Miami could be
I
fun.
thought about putting Homestead on there just because of the convenience factor of the weather. They just have to drive a couple hours north to Daytona. Like that wouldn't be the worst idea.
It would be a completely different. You'd have to bring a different car though from Homestead to Daytona.
Make
But
the
I
teams
mean,
prepare.
if you do Homestead though, you could run the oval, you could run the road course.
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of different options, but I love Darlington. I love the way Darlington races.
Yeah.
Um, it has that same kind of short track feel um, in the middle of nowhere, especially if Darlington were to lose a point state, which I know has been kind of talked about.
Yeah.
Darlington with the Clash would not upset me.
Well, it just
Um,
seems like also the spring date with no throwback weekends kind of losing some steam. Because it's like other than it being throwback weekend, it's kind of just like the awkward step, the awkward redheaded step kid of the Southern 500 is just kind of there. Same thing with Bristol Spring; it's got that same vibe to it. So maybe
right.
if it did lose that spring date, maybe substitute it for something else and go with the Clash. I could get behind that for sure.
I could see that being how Rockingham gets a point state on
Hmm.
the Cup schedule
Yeah,
is they take away Darlington one.
yeah.
But Atlanta, I mean, we saw last year when I mean you were there when half the field wrecked out,
That was
and we
insane.
had 18, 19 cars on the lead lap, and
It
it was
raced
the best
fantastic.
racing of
Oh,
the
it was
season.
awesome. People were
Um,
moving all over the track. There was room for people to move, and yeah, it was great.
Atlanta is like the only track on the schedule that would race really, really well with 60 cars or 12.
Yeah,
It is
I
just a
would I would love to
fantastic.
see duels at Atlanta. Oh my goodness, that would be insane.
The only issue I have with Atlanta is one, we already have two of them. As much as
Hmm.
I would love another date, if
I'll
it
take
ticket prices go
30
down,
Atlantas. I don't even care.
um, and it's locally in our backyard,
Yeah,
perfect race. Um, is you do still deal with it's going to be cold. There may be snow on the ground at times during February. That's our coldest time of the year here in Georgia. But um, if they gave Atlanta a third date, I don't know how long they would let them have it. Or it starts a slippery slope. As soon as you lose one date, even though it's an extra date, how long? And then, I mean, they're going to wreck a lot of race cars. And I don't know how the teams are going
why?
to feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. I mean, obviously, we would like it selfishly because we would probably be at that race. Um, but I
And I think
think
it would
like,
allow
yeah,
I think it would allow them to move Atlanta, the first Atlanta, from the second week of the season, which is fun. Like I get it, I get
yeah,
why they do that, but more, I would love Atlanta to be a playoff race.
hmm,
I think if they replaced Atlanta in Talladega, if there can only be one, Atlanta races so much better than Daytona and Talladega right now, and it just feels like there's actually more skill involved in drafting in Atlanta than there
yeah.
is at Daytona and Talladega, which has turned into crapshoots.
Yeah, which I don't know if you watched or listened to the video Eric Estep put out today, but it was reacting to like Kyle Busch complaining about the new point system, which if I was driving for Richard Childress, I would also complain about the new point system because I have no chance. But it was saying like everyone I was like makes a big deal out of about fall Talladega, like it's the boogeyman and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, it's like everyone deals with the same. Everyone's on the same track. Like it's not you're not racing any different. You're not racing on a different track than other people. Like everyone can wreck and stuff like that. But like you said, if you're able to swap those, and then it creates the aspect of having to have just a bit more skill in the drafting and that kind of stuff at Atlanta, man, I think that would solve a lot of problems. That would be awesome because I would love to go to a playoff race here and you get Talladega. I mean, you'd have to go Daytona Talladega, which would be the only kind of
I don't know if you go
issue
Daytona Talladega. I think you could go Talladega. Um, the
after
only problem is
Coda.
it gets so hot after like for Talladega and Atlanta,
Just
it's gonna
swap
be.
Coda.
But then it would be the third race. I don't know if Talladega would be able to. I mean, Talladega is a good bit north of Daytona, and it would be pretty cold that
I
time of.
mean, Atlanta. I mean, we're on the same longitude
That is
basically as
true.
Atlanta.
Okay,
I mean, and we were. I mean, you and I were at the February race last year, and it was. I mean, I was in a t-shirt. It was 60 degrees.
that's true.
It
So
just depends on the day you get. Like if it was yesterday, it would be horrible. If it was today, it'd be fine.
um, definitely though, like you would have to figure it out because you don't want to go to Talladega in February and then be right back in April.
Yeah.
So you'd have to move one date. You'd have to move the playoff race kind of back to maybe where they have the Daytona. Actually, no, screw it. I want people to. I let's let people die at Talladega, July 4th weekend, Talladega.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, there
So
you go. Perfect.
half the field's
Schedule
running
makers.
because the other half had heat stroke. Um, which I mean, I will say like, God, it sucks Talladega doesn't have lights.
That's the
Uh,
only thing that's
that
wrong with
sucks.
Talladega.
Because Atlanta, when I was there, like I had to get there early because we had like it was with a work event, so we had like the pit road that kind of deal, and that it was hot.
Yes.
But when that sun went down, it was perfect. Like it was like, God, okay, start a GoFundMe for Talladega lights.
Um, I remember I went to the very first night race at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It was the then nationwide series,
Mm-hmm.
um, and Labor Day weekend. And I remember this because Georgia, we did not get to keep up with the score of the Georgia game. Georgia lost to Oklahoma State,
Bummer.
and um, but it was so hot watching qualifying um, for the Cup cars because we didn't have tickets. It was a birthday gift. I
Yeah, so
didn't
you're just
have
going
tickets
just for the vibes. Yeah.
just for the fun. And Kyle Busch outdueled Kevin Harvick, I believe, to win.
Hmm.
And my friend at the time was a big Casey Kane fan, and Kane wrecked down pit road. I do remember that. So, but yeah, it's so hot until the sun goes down.
Yeah.
It,
Then it's money.
but if you can get it like right around September for Atlanta, I think that's a good fun race. It just depends on when you want to do the night race, and it really does. Anyways,
New
we
episode
could talk
dropping
about it.
soon. We're gonna rework the entire schedule to fit how we want it.
Fine with me. That's content. Sounds fun. We got a bye week at some point this
Yeah,
year,
we'll do that on like a bye week or something.
so. But I said Atlanta and Darlington if you're going to run an existing track.
Yeah.
I'll throw Homestead in there,
Yeah.
um,
That's an
which
honorable mention for me as well.
which kind of be fun if we end the season at Homestead and then start the season at Homestead.
Yeah. See what
Um,
off-season adjustments these guys can make.
but where I actually want it, and I've been talking a lot, is Volusia.
Okay. Spell
We
that for me.
so Volusia, it's in the notes
Oh,
right
it
there.
is.
Um,
I would like to see this if this is where you really want it to go.
this would be my thing. It is probably the best dirt facility in the southeast, except for maybe Dixie Motor Speedway or the dirt track at Charlotte. So I mean, the dirt track at Charlotte could work, but if we're gonna move it for weather reasons, if that's what we're gonna cite, then
Oh,
the
that's
dirt track at Charlotte.
fantastic.
But if we're gonna run a
That's
dirt
cool.
race
Yeah.
and they don't want it to feel like a gimmick, run it as the Clash. We're already running it at a football stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can't get much more gimmicky than what we're already doing.
Yeah.
So, and I think that it would be a nice proof of concept that if we can run this, I mean, the next gen can run it with very minimal adjustments. I mean, they just
Yeah.
take off the diffuser and they replace the windshield with a grate, and they're fine.
Yeah.
So I think that could be a ton of fun,
Yeah.
and it's different. It actually sticks out in your mind, like how
Yeah.
the
It's like, oh, we
Coliseum did.
ran the Clash on dirt. Yeah.
So
Check out. I got one more for you. It's also North Carolina. Check. It's. I think it's almost. It's like 0.455 miles. Caraway Speedway in
oh
Caraway,
yeah,
North Carolina.
so
I
right out
mean,
is that right outside of Charlotte, right?
no idea, but it looks cool. From when I was doing some research earlier, I was like, man, that it looks like it's got the infrastructure and the bones to be able to host. It's right there in the heart of this like NASCAR country in North Carolina. I mean, it's almost a half mile. You could run a decent amount of cars on there. Um, it. I mean, you can fit. This one's big enough to put some haulers on the infield. It looks like from the pictures I'm looking at. Like, I like the look of this one for sure.
It's got 8,000 grandstand seats, so you could
Yeah,
probably get some temporary grandstands in there.
yeah.
That would be good. It's in Sophia, um, North Carolina.
Which I don't know where that is actually. I thought it was in Caraway. Who?
I'm
Um.
confusing it because there used to be an amusement park right outside of Charlotte called Caraways
Ah,
or Carowinds, and that's
something
why I'm
like that.
confusing it. But
So if you had to pick out of all, is Volusia your number one?
Volusia would be my number one. I just want to see the Cup cars on dirt.
Yeah,
Um, it's between Raleigh, Greensboro, and Charlotte, so it's right there in the middle of the Research Triangle.
yeah.
Um, so
I think
pretty
my pick would be if I had to pick any after looking through mine. I think I'd go. I think I'd go New Smyrna.
okay. I mean, it's I like to keep that kind of short track feel. I
Yeah,
mentioned Road Atlanta just as a if I think if we're going to get it on the schedule, that would probably be where
yeah,
it came in on the schedule because I don't see
yeah.
them running the All Star race there.
No,
But
that'd be pretty boring All Star race.
yeah, oh, your All Star is SVG. Who could have guessed
Who
it?
would have thought that?
Um, but I think that's a fun thing. And now we can kind of move on from the Clash, even though it's not been run yet, and
I
still
think
won't be
we're all
run for.
mentally almost past it already, anyways.
I mean, I think we can just give the win to the snowstorm and call it a day.
Good job, Winter Storm Fern. You get the trophy. Now take me to Daytona.
What do you think Winter Storm Firm would order at Cookout for the Clash? Like
Probably.
what tray?
Hmm. What's the? Is there a tray where it's like everything's just not cooked? It's just everything's out of the freezer, cold, and like 3 milkshakes. Everything's just freezing. That's
I
what
don't know.
they would order. They would order Winter Storm Fern. I'm gonna assume her gender as a she. Don't cancel me. That's a good question. What would Winter Storm Fern?
See, I think
What do
she's
you
a.
order at Cookout?
I mean, I weigh quite a bit, so this might be. Um,
What's your tray at
but
least? Just give me
you
your. I'll
got to
tell
go.
you my tray.
Well, that's what I only order a tray, anyways. But you got
Yeah.
to go quesadilla, or I swap them out. So a quesadilla tray,
Yep.
um,
That's where I
and
start too.
then
2 quesadillas.
I go white cheddar cheese bites, and then I
Okay.
mix up the second,
Okay.
whether that's onion rings or um, I'm trying to think. They have maybe the Cajun chicken wrap. I think that one's a go
Yeah.
to.
So I'm right there with you on that one. And in the contrary, I pride myself on a man of fitness, but I cannot really turn down a cookout tray. And I start quesadilla tray, chicken. Oh, can't beat it. 2 quesadillas, and then I go double ranch chicken wrap
Okay,
with a cheer wine,
that's respectable.
and it's hits every time.
If you do go milkshake, I go chocolate chip cheesecake is typically mine.
Oreo
My-
cheesecake is mine.
So we're
We're
pretty similar.
right there together. I like it. We're in lockstep.
To be fair, though, I mean
We're so on topic here.
Winter Storm Fern though seems like a walking taco kind of gal.
Yeah,
I don't know.
she'd order something stupid. Actually, it's just something that no one likes because no one is appreciating the winter storm.
Yeah, but finally Daytona. Um, there's no food sponsors to distract us. We can move on to the great American race. But before that, we do have to actually qualify for it. So
Well,
the
we
Daytona
don't.
500. Okay, Grant, I have some news for you.
Are you running?
Do I look like I run very much? No.
Uh, you're running the 78 for BJ.
Yeah. So we're bringing Furniture Row back.
Uh-oh. You might win the championship.
Um, but 41 cars will be in this year's field because Jimmy Johnson has um, the provisional to make
Mhm.
this field no matter what
I'm glad
as
he
a
got it
super
if
as a superstar driver. So they actually altered the rules this year
shocker.
that if you do the OEP, you will just not get the points at all. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you qualify or anything. So Jimmy's just going to be locked in as the 41st car, and if he wins the thing, I do not believe he gets the prize money. Um, I've got to read it. NASCAR changes their rules so often that we don't actually know. They're like the college football playoff committee.
Does the
They have
prize money
no
go to
clue what's
second
going on.
place in that matter?
Yeah, I believe so. Or
That's
I guess
stupid.
they just can keep it. Jim France is just going to be,
Shocker. Yeah, that'd be the biggest surprise in history. Jim France keeping money.
but
That'd be a great look after the lawsuit.
he just shares it with Michael and Denny this time.
Oh yeah, he just hands a check to Michael Jordan, just walks away.
But 41 cars make it, and we have 37 cars already locked in. So that's the 36 chartered entries, and Jimmy Johnson running the 84 for Legacy Motor Club. So that means we have 4 spots for 8 cars that are currently on the entry list. There's a few. I guess there's possibility that like RCR runs a third car with either Jesse Love or Austin Hill. I assume it would be Austin Hill
I
at
hope
a
not.
super speedway, but um, right now, these are the 8 guys we have locked in.
Yep.
So, Justin Allgaier, he'll be running for Junior Motorsports for the second year in a row. He finished ninth in this
Mm-hmm.
race last year for the 40 car, beautiful Traveler Whiskey car.
Looks so
Um,
good.
for a fourth RFK car in the 99, bringing back the Carl Edwards special, Corey LaJoy will be
Mm-hmm.
running. And I think that car is kind of ugly, but if it
It's
gets
not the best look.
RFK, yeah, if it gets RFK another horse in this race, then so be it. Um, Front Row Motorsports. I mean, after admitting they lose just millions and millions and millions of dollars every year in the lawsuit, they're bringing a fourth car to this fight, and that's going to be Chandler Smith in the 36.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I haven't seen a paint scheme or anything on that, but we'll see it when it gets on track. Front Row actually was pretty competitive at times last year on the super speedways.
Yep.
Um, but most Fords are going to be.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it is. And Ford, we can talk about this later, has just so few. Ford and Toyota both don't have a lot of cars compared to Chevy. Chevy
Mm-hmm.
doubles both of them. So just getting these extra entries in probably helps
As
quite a
many
bit.
drafting partners as possible.
Um, JJ Yaley will run the 44 for NY Racing. Anthony Alfredo, Fast Pasta, 62 for Beard Motorsports. Casey Mears will be running Garage 66, not Garage 56, because we're only turning left, but he'll run the 66 for Garage 66. Your man, Corey Heim, he'll be in the 67 for
Time, baby.
2311. So he's got to run. Do you think well, Corey Heim absolutely knows that he's running the meme number. Like,
He
he's
has
got to
to.
know.
Yeah. I just want him to hit the Shadur one time for the Heim time. Like that would
I think
oh, that would be
he wins a cup race and then just climbs
just
out.
turns around and just hits him with one of these.
And then bringing up the rear of the field, as they tend to do at Live Fast Motorsports, it's BJ McLeod in the 78, like you mentioned earlier. So 4 of these guys will qualify, 2 from just being fast during qualifying, and then 2 will make it through the duels. So we don't know exactly how the dual field is going to line up. It might not be possible once we actually get there for like 4 guys we choose to make it.
Yeah, we're just gonna
But
try and see if we can guess them.
I would be, I have a pretty good idea, I think, of who's going to make it. At
I got
least
my
3.
4. I'm interested to see who you've got.
So I think just with how good RFK runs, I would pencil in Corey LaJoy, to definitely get through at least in the duels. If
I
he
also
maybe
have LaJoy.
I could see him. I think he'll probably have the top line speed to qualify on um, Wednesday night. I believe is qualifying. So 1 week from when this releases.
Hmm.
Um, so wow, we are getting close.
Yeah, it's wow. I didn't realize it was that close already. Yeah. Um, I tend to agree just because he's in a Ford, and then we talked about it. I think an episode or two ago. Like he was flying.
I
I
mean,
can't remember if it was at Talladega or Daytona last
it
year when
was
he
the
ran.
500 last
Was
year
it?
where he ran
Yeah,
in Rick Ware equipment that
yeah,
he self funded,
yeah.
and he was leading
He
the
stacked
race
some
or
pennies to be able, if I'm not mistaken, to be able to run
for
that
for
car.
real. I mean, with how much it costs these days, he probably had to stack dimes.
I
Um,
wouldn't be shocked. New
so
episode, new podcast coming to a show near you. Stacking dimes, but I
but
think I, I, I wouldn't be actually. I wouldn't be shocked if he was the fastest of all the eight,
I think
and
he
has
has
the
a
best
strong
finish.
possibility.
Yeah,
The 500 is such a marathon, though. I mean, qualifying doesn't matter near as much in the 500 as it does in any other real race
yeah,
this year. Like, you can make up bad qualifying position. The problem is you kind of get stuck in the back, and there's some stuff that may happen in the back. But I mean, recently, with how aggressive everyone is, the wrecks happened at the front of the field.
yeah.
So,
Usually it's one of the Penske cars doing something stupid, and then the wrecks happen right up there. Really, I mean, if I'm thinking about it from a logistical standpoint, it's just for me, it's like your pit selection. Like
yeah,
you want to make sure you have an opening on. That's why That's why I'd want to qualify well above anything. Like track position definitely matters, and I'd want to be up front as much as possible. Just in this car, you don't have the ability to hang back and drive through the field at all, as we've seen, because you can kind of get lockstep with each other. But pit stall selection, especially like that's going to be a big key as well.
Um, I think just like RFK runs really well at the drafting tracks. Corey LaJoy has talent driving um, in one of these races. We saw it last year. We keep mentioning it. He'll have help during the race if he can get there. I think he'll be there. And even if he doesn't qualify on Wednesday, chances are with three teammates, he's going to have at least one of them in the dual field with him.
Yeah,
And because track position doesn't matter, I mean, it's probably Brad or Chris or Ryan probably will drop back and help him to make the race because it helps them out
in the
more.
actual 500, they need as many people. Yeah,
And not that Corey would like not win the race, not win the 500 if he had the chance. Like if he has the chance, he's going for it. But if he's pushing Brad, I have a very hard time thinking he's going to step out of
he's
line.
going to push him right to the win for sure.
So just because that's the guy who's paying your check to be here.
If Brad
Um,
can renew his license this weekend.
yeah, it's got to take a trip down to the DMV.
Yeah, I do as
Um,
well. Maybe I'll see him there.
Justin Allgaier in the 40.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, finished ninth last year. That's kind of deceiving. He did not run up front all day.
No, I remember
Um,
watching and being like, man, I wish he would pick it up a little bit.
like he was running through the back, and then everyone wrecked in front of him in the last 10 laps. So he just kind of got into a ninth place finish,
Yeah.
which happens at Daytona. Because if you remember, Cole Custer was like right there for the win.
Do you remember who
Just
finished
two
second?
laps. Reddick.
Was it not Jimmy?
Jimmy's third, I
Was he
believe.
third? Yeah, like
Jimmy was
Jimmy
third.
Johnson got third, which all due respect to the GOAT, but kind of washed.
We're complaining about podium finishes now.
Yeah. We don't do
That's how you.
podiums. This is NASCAR.
Um, but he'll have Hendrick power under the hood. They're running Hendrick engines. He'll have help. There's a lot of Chevys in this field, so I think he'll qualify um, on Wednesday. If not, I think he's a lock to get through the duels unless there's a wreck. That's always the thing you got to worry about with Daytona.
Yeah.
So
I also have Allgaier in the field. There's nothing else I really have to add to that. Like you said, he's running a Hendrick engine. He's going to have a bazillion manufacturer alliances out there. Everyone loves Dale Jr. Everyone's going to want to help him. I mean, he's
and
set
all
up.
guys been
He's set up to
around.
be there. Yeah,
Like
and he's a respectable guy. Like he's not some new. Yeah,
like
he's
he's
got a
just
lot
been
of
around in the
cred.
Xfinity garage. Like
Yes.
they know him. He's
Yeah.
not gonna. he's not going to pull an Austin Hill and try to get it. They're not going to be like, I don't want this guy in the race because I can't trust that he won't wreck me on
Yeah.
Sunday.
You know,
Allgaier is going to
it's not
run,
like pushing Bin Laden. You know, it's like you're pushing a respectable
or
person in the
as
garage.
we found out recently, Carson Hocevar's father, clone,
Yeah, we need
whatever
to. I
that
might have
was.
to. I'll ask him about that when I'm at down on pit road for the Atlanta race this year. I'll be like, hey, do you know this guy? You should
I'm going to go ahead and
cut
move
in
on
another
to.
picture. Cut in another picture of that too, editor. Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Um, I'm going to move on to my third guy because I'm sure he's your third guy because I don't think this gets interesting until the fourth. Corey Heim, I would
Yep.
be very disappointed if he did not make it. I don't think he'll make it on speed necessarily, but the duels, I think he's just going to put himself in a good position, ride it out, and maybe if you make the Daytona 500, you can win the Daytona 500. So I don't think he's going to, but I think it's, Corey Heim should make this field. He is the probably now that Zilich is in um, the Cup Series field every weekend, he's the best prospect in NASCAR,
Mm-hmm.
even though he doesn't have a full time ride because the sport sucks in terms of revenue.
Yeah, makes no sense. It's getting hosed. But I also have him in my field. Purely a talent thing. He's got a good ride under him. There's really not much else to say.
Say it's basically a Joe Gibbs car
Yeah,
he's running.
and a
Um,
time.
yes, and I don't know how he's going to work with the other Toyotas. I mean, imagine Ty Gibbs. Let's just start this. Ty Gibbs just wrecks him at Daytona, and we really just take the season drama from 1 to 11 real quick.
God,
But
can you imagine? The Ty Gibbs slander would escalate real quick.
what if Heim wrecks Gibbs though? That would be fun. That would be interesting.
I'd crack a
Um,
smile.
just to crack a smile in a cold one. That's what
Just
NASCAR is all about.
a sly grin would creep across my face, and I'd hold up a wrist and say, "You just got Heim timed."
Oh, I thought you were doing your Power Rangers reenactment.
That's what I hope that he does to Ty Gibbs, but we can only hope.
Okay, so that leaves us with Chandler Smith, JJ Yaley, Fast Pasta, Anthony Alfredo, the best nickname in sports, Casey Mears, and BJ McLeod, all for one spot. Who do you have making
Give
the
me
field?
BJ McLeod.
Okay, so I don't even have to pretend like I'm different than you because I do not have I BJ as like dead last of these
I just
guys.
I just hope it's more of just like wishful thinking. I love seeing the all black 78 just rip it in last place. I just hope he makes it. I don't really have any. If I had to really like make a analytics based prediction, probably Fast Pasta.
I was gonna say it's between Chandler Smith and Anthony Alfredo for me.
I'd probably take Alfredo if I'm really like if I'm betting if I had to like bet U.S. currency on who would make it, but I'm going off of just my heart and my gut, so I'm just hoping it's BJ McLeod.
I mean, it just feels like Alfredo makes this race every year,
Yeah,
and it's just like, who are you racing against? Oh, just a 2311 car, an RFK car, a Trackhouse car. I
yeah,
outqualified all of them.
yeah. It's like pretty impressive.
So I think Chandler Smith is going to have a better ride beneath him, and like I said, front rows because they're Fords, they show up pretty consistently to these track races, or to they're all track races really at the
Yeah,
end of the day for these plate
plate
races.
races.
So I my gut is saying um, Anthony Alfredo. My heart is saying Fast Pasta.
Yeah,
But my brain does say I think Chandler Smith has a pretty good shot of making the dance.
I don't hate it. Just off the Ford factor.
So, and that would leave. I mean, Casey Mears. I hate that he's not going to make it. I mean, that's a brand new team, Garage 66, I believe. Definitely in the Cup Series. They may have run a few Xfinity races, or maybe they were the ones who gave Mears this ride at Talladega last year, but I don't see it. And then, I mean, JJ Yaley for NY Racing, that was a slow car even when Greg Biffle, rest in peace, was driving it. So, no respect or no, Jesus. It's been a long day. No
Clip that
disrespect
one.
to no disrespect to JJ Yaley. I just don't think that the NY Racing stallion under his feet is going to carry him anywhere. Granted, they could all wreck out and none of this matters.
Yeah.
So,
The great equalizer.
but yeah, we're still waiting on a clash, and we're counting down the days till Daytona. But until then, we'll have probably a clash reaction out this later this week if it actually happens, because at
Fingers
this point,
crossed.
who knows? And then next week we'll probably do a real deep darn. We'll have a real deep dive into the Daytona 500, not just the duels, and who we think can win and why. Which reality, everybody can win the Daytona 500. Just who would be willing to bet money on? I think it's probably where we need to draw the line
Yeah.
on that. So, but anyways, you got anything else you want to say, Grant?
Uh, Parting thoughts is I hope this race gets in on Wednesday. Fingers crossed, because I don't know how much further we can really afford to push it back. Because these cars got to get these cars set up for super speedway racing, and they got to get them down to
They got to be down
Daytona.
there by Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's what I've been
So
reading.
if
So
I don't know, because you're not going to run it with the Super Bowl, obviously. So to fill, I mean,
maybe
but
Saturday.
you got to fill the contractual obligation somehow. So I'm just hoping and praying it doesn't snow again, because otherwise we're going to be in a logistical nightmare. So
The only thing I can think of is, if I remember correctly, NASCAR has Easter off, the Cup Series at least.
yeah,
Truck Series and Xfinity or O'Reilly are at Rockingham that day. Um, we could do an Easter weekend Saturday night race,
yeah,
but the problem is then you just put another All Star race in the middle of the season that's not worth anything.
still be kind
So
of fun though, just to have. I hate off weekends, so
yeah, I think it would be kind of fun if they didn't do or if they just said, okay, we're gonna bring the top 24 in points
just take
to,
them all to Rockingham. Sorry, Bowman Gray.
yeah, probably be better racing. Like, but Bowman Gray is a fun appetizer, and then you actually get like good, like a track that's big enough to support all 36 cars, 37, 40, however many we're running any given week, and it's so much better.
You're like, yeah, this is great.
So,
So that's my parting thought. Please, please don't snow again.
well, it's supposed to snow Wednesday morning. It's just a matter of can they get the roads clear.
Keep one
Um,
Pablo Montoya away from my jet dryers, and we should be all good.
so, and hopefully everyone just keeps power. The roads are good, and I think those fans are absolute just weapons, absolute maniacs.
Got to get them in
So,
there.
so they'll be ready if this race is able to run. But for now, I'm Cayden Sturgis, and that's Grant Pulley. You've been watching the Tri-Oval Office. Let us know what you think. Like, what should NASCAR run the Clash in the future? Why should it not leave Bowman Gray? And what do you think about snow in general? Like, is it nice and able to compact into a snowman? You like that part of it, or you just want it to go away for the rest of forever? And tell us who makes the duels, or if any surprise entries are going to come up before I release this video, because that's how the news cycle has been working lately. But for all of us in Georgia, I'm Cayden. That's Grant. You're watching the Travel Office, and we'll see you next time.